In this video, we will talk about the dynamics, which we call motions as well. We know that there are two types of dynamics. One is translational dynamics and the other is rotational dynamics. Sometimes a motion is only linear motion, which we call translation. So in translation motion, a body will move from one point to another point exactly in a straight line and there will be no curvature. While in rotational motion, a body will be moving in a circular motion or spinning and it will have no linear motion. So mostly we are having the dynamics or the motion of a body as a combination of translational and rotational. Now, in order to understand the translational and rotational dynamics, first we will have to understand some terminologies, and we call the first thing the physical quantities, the physical quantities. The physical quantities we know they are, for example, displacement, it is velocity, acceleration, force, and all these. So some are actually the physical quantities are scalar and some are vectors. Now in scalar we only have number or we only have magnitude, while in vectors we are having, with this magnitude we are having a direction as well. So I will not discuss more about scalars and vectors, but consider that this is a vector. It may be any physical quantity. It may be a displacement, it may be a velocity or acceleration, but this is just a vector and it is like this. And if a vector, another vector which is just above it, and it is in this direction. Now we cannot call this thing is horizontal vector or vertical vector, because in order to define whether a vector is horizontal or it is vertical, we will have to define a coordinate system, and that coordinate system, for example, like this. We are having, this is the x-axis, this is the negative x, this is a two-dimensional coordinate system, and we are having the this is the origin, and this is the positive x-axis, and this is the positive y-axis, similarly the negative on the other side. Now according to this one, this vector is horizontal to this one, and this is vertical. Now once we have the coordinate system, then we can write our vector according to that system. So for example, we are having a vector, and now the vector considering that coordinate system, and according to this coordinate system, now this is a vector, and we know that in this coordinate system, this vector, let me write the coordinate system for it. So this is our x and this is our y. Now this vector can have any inclination, and that inclination we call slope of this vector. Now it may be like this one or it may be this one. It can have zero slope, it is on x-axis. It can have undefined or infinite slope if it is only along y-axis. So this vector I can now resolve into components, and this is the horizontal component of it, and this is the vertical component of it. Now let's consider that this in the xy plane, let this makes an angle, and that angle is theta. Let's say this is a vector, and I call this vector is vector r. Now this vector is having this component as well as this component. This component I call the horizontal component, and let me call this x. And this component is the perpendicular component or the vertical component, and let me call this as y. Now as I see that if this vector changes inclination, then the y and the x are actually changing. So for a given inclination, this will have some ratio, and as I change this inclination, then both the x and y will change. So we will have to decide that how to compare, means this r will remain constant. So we will have to decide that when this will change, then how these components will be changing. And for that we define the ratio of this one with this one and this one with this one. So we define that if we divide the ratio of the x with r, means the base divided by the height part, this one, we will call this one is cosine of theta, which we call cos theta. Similarly, the ratio of the y with r, y over r, is defined as sine of theta. So now these two quantities will actually give us the inclination of this vector. So if I divide the sine by cos, then it will be called as tangent theta, and it will be the ratio of the perpendicular to the base. The important one are actually these two. So we will write this one is x equals r cos theta, and y will be equal to r sine of theta. So these two results we will utilize all over, that the ratio of the horizontal component with the height part is cos theta, and the ratio of the perpendicular component with the height part is sine theta. So now we are coming back to our translational and rotational dynamics. The very first thing in physics that we discuss is called displacement. So this is displacement, and displacement we denote by x. Displacement is actually the distance from one point to another point in exactly a straight line. So from point A to point B, this distance in a straight line, which we call the shortest distance between 2 points, we call this displacement, and it's a vector quantity because in a straight line it will have one direction only. And then we are having its rotational counterpart, which we will call angular displacement. Now what is angular displacement? We will have to understand angular displacement. Angular displacement will be when a body will displace in a circular form from one point to another point. So let me draw a circle, and let's say this is a circle, and in this circle, let's say a body is first at this point, which is point A, and now the body has moved to this point, which is point B. Now its location is this one. So it has moved this much distance, and this is the same as this angle, which is here, and this angle we call theta. So this theta and this, they are the same, means angularly it is moving along this circle, and we say that the angular displacement we represent by theta, and it is also a vector quantity. This theta is also a vector quantity. Now we are just establishing the relation between this and this, that we know that x will be proportional to theta. But how this is, what will be the constant of this proportionality? So we will have to discuss this thing, that what will be the constant of proportionality. Let's see that we are having here, this is the radius of this circle, and now this radius has moved to this point. And if I consider this vector now, it is like this one, and it is making an angle theta, so it is having two components. And now the two components are actually this one and this component, which is the horizontal component and which is the vertical component. But as I see that this component is exactly perpendicular and it is not curved, so it is straight line. So how I can say that this component is exactly equal to this? I cannot say this thing. So what I will do, I will consider a very small displacement, and let's say this is point and this is r, and now this is a very small displacement, and this is theta, so this will be a perpendicular line. Now the curvature is actually small here. So now this and this are actually not the same, but can be approximated. If I take this one very small, like this, that this is a vector and now this is the angle. Now this perpendicular will actually have small difference with this curvature. So I say that for theta to be very small, when theta is very small, then I will have the curvature, this curved path will be approximately this perpendicular line. So I will say that when this theta is very small, I call this is day theta, very small. How much small? So small that this perpendicular is exactly the same as this one. So I will say that the theta component, now what was the perpendicular distance here? The perpendicular distance was y, and it was r sine theta. So y equals r and sine theta. So now this sine theta is actually, I will consider theta to be very small, and I will say that this is now day theta. So I will write that the perpendicular length will be actually equal to dy, and this will be equal to r sine day theta. Now I know that when theta is very small, then sine of theta is approximated as theta. Like sine of day theta is approximately theta, so I can say that dy is r day theta. And now I can integrate both sides. So this will, if I do integrate this one, then this will be dy and this will be r day theta. Now y is running from 0 to any distance, and let's say that distance I call that this is a distance and this is a distance. So I call that this distance is going from y 0 to y, or I can call that this is any x distance. If I call this one that this is any distance, and let's say that distance, I call that this distance is s, any distance. And here this r is constant and d theta will be running from 0 to, because this will be d theta, d theta, d theta and so on, and it will go on, and if I will add up all the d thetas, then for a complete circular motion this will go up to 2 pi. So I will write this one, it will become y and it will become s and it will become r and 2 pi r. So I can say that this distance x, which is the linear distance, is equal to 2 pi times r. Now this 2 pi is actually the angle, so I can write that this is r in total angle, and total angle is this one. So I can write s equals r theta, I can write x equals r theta. So for here, this theta is supposed to be very, very small in our consideration. Now this is the full theta here. So we can approximate here that when theta is very, very small, this arc length is almost equal to this perpendicular length. For the whole circle, this length will become, this angle will become 2 pi and it will be times r. So the linear, and this is the linear displacement and this is the angular displacement. So the linear and the angular displacement are related by just multiply it with that radius, which we will later on call the moment arm. So s is equal r theta. And this is we call the circumference. The circumference will be from here to here, all the perimeter of this circle, which we call the circumference, and this will be equal to 2 pi r.